I'd really like to have you talk about their Victory Box because, obviously this is something that means a lot. The Victory Cheese Box is something that is really helping out a lot of the cheesemakers and farmers across the United States. And you have a magnificent one.
As Michael said, Victory Cheese is a kind of a movement around the country that extends beyond what we're doing. The Victory Cheese Box we're selling is one example of dozens of boxes that are being sold around the country. And the purpose is to draw attention and create sales for particularly small-scale cheesemakers who are struggling because of the pandemic. And so it's borrowing its name, Victory Cheese, from the Victory Gardens of World War II. And the goal was to create a sense of, patriotism, or to support small-scale American cheesemakers, because as the tagline says, choose it or lose it. If some of us small producers, if you don't buy our cheese now, we may not still be in business next time you look in the fall. A lot of us have seen our sales drop precipitously the last few months, and are really struggling. And so the campaign Victory Cheese is hopefully will resonate around the country and help people understand that. And so our particular box combines our cheese, which you saw there, with two other cheeses from the Hook family and the Raleigh family. They're both actually on the same road as our farm, just to the south. And close friends, longtime, brothers in arms, really. They are both small family scale cheesemakers. And Chris Raleigh is, the current generation, but I think he's the fourth generation to be making cheese at his family's cheese factory, 100 plus years. And Tony Hook and his family, right in the town of Mineral Point to the south of us, have been at it for maybe 40 years, I think. And there's a 10-year cheddar in the box from Hooks. They basically, I think, set the benchmark for long-aged cheddars in the countries, I would say, certainly in Wisconsin. They age some of their cheddars up to 10 or 20 years. The New York Times wrote about their 20-year cheddar a couple of weeks ago. This cheddar is 10 years old, and there's a wedge of that in there. Raleigh's cheese is called Red Rock, and this is a really interesting cheese. It's made like a traditional block cheddar, so in a 40-pound block, but he's added blue mold cultures to the milk, and then at a certain stage during the ripening, pierces the blocks to allow oxygen in, and the blue mold cultures require oxygen to start creating mold and breaking down the fats and proteins in the cheese to create flavors. So the flavor in the Red Rock is a combination of kind of classic cheddar flavors, a little tart and creamy mouthfeel, with some blue mold type flavors that you find in a blue cheese, kind of an umami, a savoriness and a spiky saltiness. Really interesting cheese. So it's our three cheeses together, and some spiced pecans from a company in Madison, and so a little jar of apple and cranberry preserves. So now, speaking of sweet and savory, the preserves are sweet and tart. The cranberries are really bright, kind of acidic tart fruit. And then the spiced pecans, they have it all. I mean, they're salty, sweet, and savory. They have some, they're I think, traditionally a Spanish product that you'd serve with tapas or something. So it's got some brown sugar in it for sweetness, but also like cayenne and a lot of warm spices. So we're down to less than 50 boxes left on our website. We've been selling them for the last month, and we'll take a breather now. We'll sell through all of them the next couple of days. Take a breather, let other people step to the forefront with their Victory Cheese boxes. but I expect this movement to continue on for many months. So the thing to do is to go to the website, victorycheese.com, and there is a page on there that will list all the different Victory cheese boxes available. And so if you have found your restaurant budget is all of a sudden available, and you want to feel indulgent and give yourself a fun evening at home, buy a Victory cheese box, and create some of these fun pairings we've been talking about today. Very affordable, shipped right to your house, and you know, we've all had countless evenings at home, consecutive evenings at home here, and I think this can be a great way to give yourself an evening that feels a little special, and while doing so, support cheesemakers who really need it. And I should also say most of these Victory cheese boxes have a philanthropic component, and in our case, 10% of all of our Victory cheese box sales are going to our local food pantry, which is more important these days than ever. And so when we're done here and next week selling our Victory cheese boxes, I think we'll be sending about $3,000 to the local food pantry. So it's a wonderful thing to get behind, wonderful way to learn about new cheese. Please check it out.